Welcome everyone, my name is Gayle, and today we're going to focus on our ankles and our knees. We're going to work on ranges of motion, dorsiflexion, extension, building a little strength, and most of all, building awareness. Because, if our ankles are weak, if our hips are weak, if our knee is, being constantly thrown out of alignment, we're going to end up having problems, and it'll affect how we live our lives, how we go throughout our day, just doing simple things and even doing the more fun things that are more demanding on our bodies. So it all starts with awareness up here. So let's start first by clearing our mind. So we'll just take 5 breaths mindfully. Breathing in through your nose, finding an inner expansion and a lift, and breathing out through your nose, finding a sense of relaxation and settling down. See if you can keep your entire focus on your breath so that you are basically clearing out the clutter of your mind. And let yourself start from a place of being relaxed and peaceful. Just gently open your eyes, and it would be helpful to have a couple of yoga blocks or a stack of books that you can stack up that are pretty even. And if you don't have them, don't worry, you'll still get a lot of value from this video. But if you can find them, if you need to pause the video, go get them now. But let's just start with playing with the rotation of our ankle. So just start to point your toes, then invert, flex your foot, evert. Just working nice and slowly. Noticing places that might feel stiff or a little tender or sore, and reverse the direction of these circles. Nice and slow. Notice if there's any clicking in there. If you've had an injury in the past, there might be a little clicking. Now let's do the other side, other foot. Notice if one foot feels like it moves a little more smoothly. I'm recovering from a badly sprained and broken ankle on my left foot, so it feels like it doesn't quite glide quite as smoothly as the right, but I'm still in the healing stages. And even an old injury, we can still improve the function of our bodies if we pay attention and give it a little time. So now let's tuck our toes and sit back towards our heels. So this is going to stretch out the whole sole of the foot, stretch out the toes. And then release your feet, sit back on your heels, and start to lean back. This is going to stretch out the top of the feet and into the front of the ankles. So just slowly lift and lower your knees. And maybe if it feels good for you, you can keep your knees lifted and even balance here. Good. Lower your knees back down. Come on into tabletop. Stretch your left leg out and push into the big toe mound of your foot and stretch your heel back. So you're pushing down and stretching your heel back, getting into some dorsiflexion of the front of the ankle and also extension on the back of the ankle. And step your foot forward with your foot just a little bit in front of your other knee. Place your hands on your knee and think of pressing your heel into the ground and then stretching your knee forward without letting the weight come off your heel. And you can just glide back and forth. So think about it. Every time we go up and down stairs, we're flexing the ankle. If we want to squat, we have to have good ankle flexion. So this is important to do to make sure that we have that. And now come up onto your toes and just externally rotate your hip and internally rotate. So you can see all that movement down into your foot and your ankle, from your knee Good, and let's do the other side. So step your right foot forward, root down through your heel, and then stretch forward. Trying to keep that heel down. So especially if it's tight and depending on how far you go, your heel's going to want to lift. You're going to try and keep it anchored down. And notice what you're feeling. So for me, on this foot, I don't feel a lot of pressure on the front of my ankle as I stretch it forward, but on the other foot that was injured, I did. Then come back up to your knee right over your ankle and lift your heel up and just rotate around on the ball mount of your feet. Nice. Tuck your toes and let's come into a squat. And again here, notice, like, where are you feeling the pressure? Are you feeling it like a big stretch in the back of your ankles? Are you feeling some pressure on the front of your ankles? And lift your hips up. Walk your hands forward and your feet back, coming into down dog. Then lift up on your toes and then press down through your heels. So just think of pressing your heels down and stretching your knees forward. Trying to keep those heels down. So you push into your hands, which is going to put some weight in towards the heels of your foot. And then you're trying to bend your knee kind of against that. So just kind of bend and straighten. Good, then come up onto your tiptoes. Keep your heels lifted as high as you can and walk your feet forward. Come up onto your fingertips. Maybe lift your heels a little higher and slowly lower down. Walk your hands back. Now see if you can lift, just lift the front of your feet up. Lower down, lift the heels up. Lower down, lift the whole front of your foot up. Trying to keep your hips moving more or less up and down rather than forward and back. So you're really using the muscles of your legs to lift and lower the front and the back of your hips. Now bend your knees, come on into Utkatasana, chair pose. Practice like stretching your knees forward and then shifting your weight back. And forward and back. And press down through your feet, rise all the way up. And reach your hands, let your hands rest by your sides. Step your left foot back, point your toes behind you, and press gently down into the floor to feel a stretch on the front of your ankle, and even isometrically try and drag your foot forward. So you're pressing down gently and isometrically dragging it forward, really getting a good stretch on the top of your foot into your ankle. And then think of like reaching out through your toes. Good, bend your knee, bring your knee up, circle your foot, both directions, and lower down. Let's do the same thing other side. So stretch your right leg back, push into the top of your foot gently. Don't be like, don't be too aggressive here. And isometrically try and drag that foot forward as you press down. Feeling that stretch. And just kind of modifying depending on what you're feeling. Like just let your body, like trust your intuition to make the little shifts, little changes here. And then do you think of lifting your thigh up a little bit, stretching your hips a little bit forward. And pick your foot up, circle your ankle, both directions. Maybe shake it out. Okay, now let's take your blocks, your books, whatever you've got. If you have anything that can raise you up. Actually, maybe I'll show you from the side. We're going to step onto the blocks. So notice I'm not like stepping all the way forward. I want to step so that I have enough pressure down that the blocks aren't going to flip on me, but I'm back far enough that I can lower the heels down. So think of lowering your heels and then lift up nice and tall and lower the heels. Woo. and lift up again. And just slowly go back and forth, keeping your arches lifting, your feet engaged. Really press into the big toe mound without letting your arches collapse too much. Let's see if you can keep your heels lifted and hold here. So hug the legs in, hug the ankles in, press into the big toe mound. And slowly lower down. Let your heels hang down. Getting a stretch in the back of your heel. And then let's step off the blocks. Move them off to the side for now. We're just gonna lift and lower. Like lift up, reach your arms up. Keep drawing your heels up towards your glutes, hugging the legs in, and see how slowly you can lower down with control as you release the arms down. One more time, press down through your big toe mounds, reach up, and slowly lower down. And we're gonna kind of heel toe our way across the mat. So lean back a little bit, lift the front of your feet up, twist to the side, lift the heels up, and twist. Lift the front of the feet up, twist. We're just gonna rotate across our mat, just with this little twisting and lifting action here. And then we'll go back to the center of our mat. Good. Now bend your knees, place your hands on your knees. We're gonna roll our knees forward and then over to the side. So we're coming onto the outside edge of the one foot and the inside edge of the other. Then back, maybe lift up a little bit and to the other side. So just nice and slowly. So when you lift your feet up, you kind of have to counter with your weight forward. We're just trying to roll around on the feet, and let's reverse the direction. Nice ankle mobility here, should feel pretty good. And come back to center, just shake one foot out at a time. Good, now let's come into a lunge. Actually, okay, so now we're gonna do some lunges back and forth. So let's start in the center of our mat. As you inhale, reach your arms up, come up onto your toes. And as you exhale, lower down, step your left knee back, bend into your right knee. Just so we don't always want to have our knee way forward of the toes, but for this purpose now, we're just going to stretch the knee forward and lift up, pull your knee up and step forward. Try and keep your heel pressing down as you lean into your front foot and press up your front foot, pull it up and step it back. Try and lower the back heel down and come forward, pull your knee up, step forward. Try and keep the back heel down, lean back, pull your knee up and stretch back. So just do this nice and slowly with a feeling of control and a feeling of stability. One more time. So the idea is we're trying to keep the heel weighted, the back heel weighted. And now let's interlace our fingers, reach up. Nice, and step forward again. So we'll do the other side. So inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, step your right leg back, press out through the heels, you stretch forward through the opposite knee. Then pull your knee up, step forward a little bit, and pressing into the back heel, reach your knee forward. And we're just gonna step forward and back with a feeling of grace and strength and balance. So just move almost like in slow motion if you can. like playing with that idea. I'll just go one more time back and forth. Good. Come back to center and step your left leg back again. Rotate the back heel down. So we're coming into warrior two. I just want you to pick your heel up of the front foot and start to rotate. External rotation, so your knee goes out to the side, and internal rotation, so it moves in towards the center, the front of your body. And just slowly glide back and forth. Then press your heel down. Aim your knee right over the second toe. Reach up and back. So as you reach back, reach your knee forward a little bit. And come back through warrior two. Step back into Tadasana. And we'll do the other side. So stretch your right leg back. Rotate the back heel down, coming into warrior two. Lift up through your heel and rotate externally and internally. Notice the pressure that you might feel on the inside or the outside of your knee, depending on which direction you're going. Keeping that leg nice and strong, really rooting down through the big toe mound. Come back to center, press into your heel, reach your knee forward as you reach up and back. Come back through warrior two and step forward. And just kind of like shake everything out, move the hips, circle. And let's come into a squat and see how the squat feels now. So the wider apart your feet are, usually it's easier to squat. Toes turned out makes it a little easier. So find the position that works for you. Lower down. And then lean forward, keeping weight into your heels. And rock back. And just go forward and back a couple more times. Good, lower your hips to the floor. And come into a comfortable seat. So I just wanted to do a few things for you to work on the mobility of your ankles and the flexibility and the alignment of your knee, and get a sense of how these two really connect and interact with each other. And how when you play with these ranges of motion, how maybe you feel a little more grounded and balanced when you're doing these like one-legged poses. And of course it's going to translate into your daily life when you're just walking around doing things that you need to do, or getting out there and running or playing around, whatever it is you're doing. So thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you coming, joining me in this practice. Please leave a comment below, a request, just anyway, anything you want to say, just say hi, whatever. So I hope to see you again soon on the mat. And again, namaste. Thank you so much.